Hey, I am back. I am back. It's MarshaunO here. So let me just tell you, we're going to talk about some of the things that you can do right now to turn your relationship around, to make it better, to improve it, to go from where it is today to where you really want it to be. But you must start doing that thing right now. But before I do that, before I go into some of the tips and strategies that you can use to improve your relationship right now, I want to introduce myself briefly to those of you who are finding me for the very first time. My name is MarshaunO, and I am a shift relationship strategist. And I help Black Christian women that are married or in long term relationships to stop feeling disconnected and unloved and shift you to feeling heard, understood, and appreciated. Now, again, that is who I am, that's who I help. But I also do that via my books, my digital courses, as well as my group coaching program. Now, with that being said, I was talking to a client of mine and she asked me this very question. What can I do to improve my relationship right now? And I want to share that here with you. So the very first thing is I asked her, like, let's get really deep down. How often are you having those difficult conversations, those tough conversations, the conversations that you don't need to have because it's keeping you up at night? You're tossing and turning, or when you finally do go to sleep, you're waking up because you're trying to think about, why am I in such a situation? But what we do not realize is that the moment you actually have the deeper, necessary, difficult conversations is when your relationship starts to really blossom and the intimacy is deepened. It's really you honing in on being vulnerable, showing up in that space to say, you know what, this is me and all of me. Accept me, flaws and all. This is me and all of my truth. And then it's up to your partner to accept you or reject you. And that leads me to fear, right? Most people don't open up and they are not vulnerable because of some sort of fear that they are being held back. And the fear is crippling them from getting to the next level. So, specifically in your relationship or in your marriages, right? Your fear of having that difficult conversation because you don't know how your spouse is going to respond, or you believe you already know how your spouse is going to respond, is going to keep you disconnected. It's when you walk in that vulnerability and that openness and that honesty about yourself is when the deep connections start to take place. It is you swallowing that lump in your throat and saying, babe, we need to have a conversation about this thing that has been keeping me up at night. And you know, I love you so much, but we really have to find a solution to this thing today because there's no way that we can even move forward. There's no way that I can accept the way that this is flowing because I really love you and I really want to get closer to you. And there's no way possible for us to do that if we continue to ignore these difficult conversations, keep sweeping them under the rug, or having the conversations and never coming up with a solution so you can stop having that same conversation over and over again. Now, before I go into tip number 2, I want to tell you that I actually created a quiz just for this reason because I really want you to understand exactly where you are in your relationship or in your marriage. I want you to understand if you're in a toxic relationship because maybe you don't know what that looks like, what that really is, because some of us have been in such toxicity, been around it, that it's become normalized and it's not normal. But you may not understand and be able to differentiate what toxicity is. So take the quiz. Some of you are in humdrum relationships where you know that you can be doing more, you know that it could be better, but you are deciding not to for whatever reason, right? You have reached a plateau. Others of you are in very decent relationships, but there might be that one or two difficult conversations that you have not addressed. And so the more that you address these things, the more that you speak up, the more that you use your power of no, and truly believe that you have the audacity to use your power of no and mean it, the more that you use your power of no, right, the easier that it gets. And mainly the reason why we stop using our power of no It's because we're either people pleasers, right? We don't want this person to leave us. We don't want this argument to happen. We don't want this thing to go downhill, if you will. But that is when you get the intimacy. That is when you start to really deepen the trust for your spouse, and also your spouse as well as yourself knowing each other on a deeper level. So this is what it's going to take. So click the link down below. It is bit.ly/rescue my relationship. Again, that's bit.ly/rescue my relationship. And that's all one word, all lowercase letters. But again, the link is down in the description box. Now, on to tip number 2. How can you turn your relationship around right now? So we already talked about basically having those difficult conversations, right? So now we move on to you actually saying enough is enough. And what I mean by enough is enough is when you had enough and you really are sick and tired of being in this mundane relationship or toxic relationship, as I mentioned, and you cross that line of no return, your last straw has been plucked, if you will, this is when you will do something about your relationship. So unfortunately, until you get to that last straw, you won't do anything. So now because it's you're not comfortable, but you're also not sick and tired of being sick and tired. And so you must get sick and tired of being sick and tired and actually speak up, right? That's a part of the communication factor that we're lacking in. Say the things that you want, need, and desire, as well as the things that you often see that are not conducive to a relationship that you want to be a part of. Like, we really just must speak up. Must speak up. Like right now, when that thing happens, because here's the thing that we end up doing. We allow things to pile up and pile up and pile up, and then that's when the resentment is starting to build up. But also, we are losing that opportunity to get that thing corrected in the moment. So stop losing the opportunity, holding on to this thing, building up the resentment, and then all of a sudden you blow a gasket. You blow up like a volcano, and your man is wondering what the heck is happening. It's because you didn't address it in that very moment, and you allowed things to just fall by the wayside. And these things keep piling up over and over and over again. And then you're like, I don't even know if I'm supposed to be here. I don't even know if I like this dude no more. When lots of these things could be cut off at the head by just addressing them sooner than later, because you're missing the opportunity. And now he's having to think, well, did I actually do that? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I did that. I don't think I did that, right? Or why are you so upset? Like, what's actually happening with you? And then you're like, you're just blowing up because you literally have had enough. So speak up. Have those difficult conversations. And then the final thing that I can say in order to turn your relationship around right now is to really think about what you want your relationship to look like, your relationship and or marriage to look like in the next year. Right? Like, literally make a list of all the things that you want your marriage and relationship to look like. And then start to practice those things. Because here's the thing. Until we start taking action to make things different, things will never be different. Take the action when you're scared. Well, it could be a hug. It could be a hug. It could be a kiss. It could be more sex. It could be the difficult conversations. It could be, you know what, I really want us to vacation more. It could be, I really want us to go to church more. Like, whatever your things are, add them to the list, and then you start to do them. I didn't say your spouse starts to do them. I'm speaking to you, because you have the authority to create the relationship that you really want to be a part of. And this is including in your marriage. Make the list, start taking the action, and I promise you will see your relationship shifting and changing for the better. Because the better that you show up, the better your spouse will show up as well. I love you guys, and there's nothing that you can do about it, and I will see you next time. Bye, y'all.